In this Soundtrack Pro video, we're going to look at the way that this program works as a multi-track editor. Soundtrack Pro is fantastic for putting together music and audio clips, particularly if you're working to video. You can see that at the top, just above the main audio tracks menu, there's an opportunity to bring in a video. So if you're doing video editing and you want to do intensive audio work to picture, this is a great program to work with. It's also really good if you're putting together soundscapes or sound collages, groups of individual audio files which sort of blend into one another. And we're going to look at some of the tools that you can work with if you're interested in doing that sort of work right now. You can see that I've got 4 tracks of sounds, and here at the top where I've got the sort of interior sort of bank sound, what I've got is a sound which transitions into this sort of cityscape underneath it. Now you can see that as I move over the end of this file, the first of the tools becomes available, which of course is a cropping tool that allows me to drag forwards or backwards and to get rid of audio at a certain point. But if I move up, again I'm not clicking, I select a different tool, an envelope tool. You can see the little envelope icon, and as I drag back over a file, what this does is to give me a volume envelope. So what I can do is I can zoom in on this file and have a look at how we can edit this envelope to change the transition from this bank sound into the cityscape which comes after it. So I'm just going to go and find the end of this file now. And what I can then do is to highlight this area, just move the mouse over it again, and by double clicking on this part of the file I bring up the fade selection box, which allows me to choose either a linear or logarithmic fade out of this file into the one after it. So you can see that that's dropping down now, and as the city comes up I want this sound to fade in. So again what I can do is to go and find this little envelope icon, and over about the same period what I can do is to bring in a fade again. I can edit this if I want to as well. So now what I've done is to edit the transition between these two sounds, so that's going to work a little bit more nicely with any luck. Let's just check out the end of my soundscape here. You can see that at the moment I've got this sort of car crash sound and then a dog barking, and what I want to do is to sort of make this dog bark a little bit more distant. So let's have a quick look at how Soundtrack Pro works with effects. You can see that I've got my audio unit effects and also my regular Logic effect here at the top. So I'm just going to bring in a platinum verb and make some changes to these parameters. And I want this dog bark to become much more distant, so I'm going to make a reverb which kind of reflects that. So there are my settings. Okay, so the volume's still all wrong, but at least now I've got a little bit of reverb on that sound. But what I can also do is to edit this dog bark a little bit more intensively if I want to. If I double click on the dog bark, I come out of multi-track edit mode and that multi-track mixer, and instead what I do is I go into the stereo editor, which we've seen before. And this tool up at the top is a time stretch tool, the one with arrows pointing in both directions. So what I can do is highlight a piece of audio and stretch it if I want to. However, this audio file, because it's come from the main loops library, is governed by a certain length. So if I try and make this file longer, it's not going to let me in this direction. So what I'm going to do instead is to shrink it backwards, and you can hear that now auditioning in the background. What I'm actually more interested in doing is stretching this third dog bark so it's much longer. I just want 3 dog barks rather than 4, but I want this last one to be sort of sci-fi and a bit dramatic. So I can simply just stretch it to create this kind of slightly spooky dog bark, which is going to sort of take the place of the original file. Now you can see that the dog bark's opened up in its individual own tab, and I've got one here for the bank, and then I can go back to my main multi-track as well. So you can hear that that file's updated, but if I didn't like it, I could easily just go back into my little dog bark page and change that. You can see that I've also got a chance to adjust volumes and pans and other things down here at the bottom. So if you're interested in working in a sort of multi-track environment, but away from the distraction of setting up instruments and the like, and if you're working particularly to video, then Soundtrack Pro is a great program. And as we've seen before, the actions menu over here on the left allows you to undo anything you don't like.